Alright guys, so this is based off that weird boss from Castlevania Symphony of Night. This is another Symphony of Night map. It works pretty good as arena. If you guys ever played Castlevania Symphony of Night, like there's this weird zombie, like core thing that you get to fight. King DDD is sort of substituting for that the best he can, but it's pretty freaky. Like, if you're unfamiliar with the series, I forget what the name of it's called, but we used to do like a trick early in the game called Soul Steal with Alucard. Like that sort of thing was pretty tight. As for the King DDD, like his cheap trick is that grab thing. People constantly like do that grab move with him. It's super cheap. I don't like that. But I mean, like King DDD, if you didn't have that cheap grab thing, I mean, you could fight with him. But it seems like most of his skills or abilities are based off of like precise timing and cheap shots. But I do like the fact he throws Waddle Dees like around. I think that's pretty funny. I used to be like, used to like be like, what? About the Waddle Dee thing, the spike ball. The spike ball is a little bit too cheap at times, but you can get used to it. I had like a lot of the fights I've been in I couldn't record, mainly because they were more than 2 or 3 minutes long. I will think about doing some Dragon Ball Z videos for Budokai. Well, it's just I don't have a cameraman, so I had to work out the stuff. I probably will end up doing some CPU stuff, unfortunately. But I think I could get one camera type shot like deal in. Hey, VileVinds here. Here's a level that was inspired by the cut stages from Super Smash Bros. Melee. I decided to do my best job of recreating it, Smash Bros. Brawl. And of course, you know me, I like my dragons, so I'm playing as Charizard. It's actually quite difficult to win as Charizard against a pro, like Ike player and stuff like that. Charizard is like Bowser, but he's slightly weaker than Bowser. Mostly I just want to get good with Charizard because I like the whole dragon theme. Then he can break rocks over his head. Yeah, there's 2 more levels that follow this type of series. My skills are rusty, so obviously these fight scenes I am doing pretty crappy. But don't worry about that, guys. Yeah, I always hated characters that have counterattack. I think it's a cheap move myself. Because they don't actually take damage when they perform the counterattack. Real counterattack would imply that the adversary actually took the damage before sending it back. Yeah, switching over to Charizard. I hate that about the Pokemon trainer. It's such an annoyance, especially in like serious fights with our players. Like I don't want to be anything but Charizard. Once again, a lost level from the Fire Emblem series that didn't make it to Melee. There was only 2 Fire Emblem characters, so I wasn't really sure how to mix this up. So I just put Link wanted to do a crossover series between Legend of Zelda, like, you know, where the whole Triforce, the Dark Triforce, like all Shadow versions, were actually work under Ganondorf to fight off a greater evil from the Fire Emblem universe, or Andross. Now that would be cool. I probably already said that about the Andross thing. Why do I always want monsters to win? Because it's funner that way. I'm always a fan of the monsters. Although I am a pretty good Link player, I actually managed to defeat a Marth and an Ike with Link with only using the sword, and they weren't noobs either, which is actually a pretty decent feat. I find if you only focus on the sword with Link and not his extra attacks, you can actually do pretty damn good in fight. I wish I could have gotten other players to record these matches, but I just got, you know, skill levels aren't as high as mine, so I had to fight level 9 computers. Then I wanted to stretch the map out, make you guys see every portion of the map. I would have did like a picture slideshow if the map representation wasn't so tiny, but where's the fun of that? Of course I had to finish the round of Ganondorf. Now my Ganondorf skills are rusty. It's very difficult to actually achieve high accomplishments with Ganondorf because of his, you know, he has a lot of weaknesses with all that power. I decided to go with white Ganondorf, you know, reverse sides Ganondorf. They should have made his outfit white and blue like the inverted version of him supposed to look like though. And they should have made Black Shadow, Captain Falcon's arch nemesis, an alternate skin for Ganondorf. That would have made sense, because he pretty much is Black Shadow in this game, because the skill set is so similar to Captain Falcon's. Yeah, the punch is actually an obsolete move. It's only good if you're falling like from way high up and you know your opponent's going to leave himself open. Turns out like the shoulder jab can actually do more damage than the punch fully charged, and it's less predictable. And the upwards kick thing is a better move too, but it's a little harder to do because you got to be slightly tilting up before you kick. I really wish they would have allowed Ganondorf to use his sword. Like, Sheik can, like, you know, Zelda can become Sheik. I wish Ganondorf would have had allowed a switch modes from some, you know, melee brawl mode to sword mode. I mean, that would have been nice to add that type of switching thing. Here's a faithfully recreated version of the Super Smash Bros. Melee of, you know, Venom stage, which I thought they should have kept in the lineup of the stages just because of all the cool backgrounds and stuff, you know, all the flashiness. Now, of the three, Fox, Falco, you know, and Wolf, you know, it's pro Wolf players are the ones that give me the most problems. I do have a lot of problems with pro Falco players. Mostly it's because of the spamming for Falco players. And once I get past that though, I usually can take a win in if I'm playing seriously. Fox is like probably, you know, the best when it comes to flat fields. Falco, well, of course, he falls faster. Each one seems to have a field advantage, but Wolf has a little bit extra, but only like the smallest margin. But there's some pro Wolf players that can really tear you up. He doesn't have the speed dash like they do though, but he has enough moves to cover him. He's the kind of character that has to be always on the attack because his punch is a little low. Fast characters are like that. I know with Captain Falcon, everybody wants to do the fancy moves. What you gotta do is focus on the normal moves and not the fancy moves. The fancy moves are just sort of, as you know, you try to use them as a gap holder. If you see a gap in your opponent's line, then you can use a fancy move, but over-reliance on them is bad. Now this is the only Metal Gear stage I could think of. I tried to do my best, so pretty much a perfect recreation of Metal Gear Rex. The premise of fighting, you know, the liquid fight. I was always a fan of like the whole Snake Liquid Nemesis thing in the first, you know, PS1 game. Of course everybody was. Could never beat the game on like the really hard settings, but I had a lot of fun with all the extra stuff to do in the first Metal Gear Solid. It was one of the most like sort of, you know, underground feels type games at the time, where you get this feel like, oh cool, this game really got put a passion into it and thought of a little, you know, like innovative stuff. But I really think they should have not made Metal Gear Rising with Raiden. What they should have did with Metal Gear Rising is create an alternate universe where Gray Fox defeats Metal Gear and takes the role Snake would have normally took, and used him as their main, you know, sort of thing. The Metal Gear Rising game, it's so bad. Oh my god, it's bad. I don't feel like the Cyborg Ninja at all. Notice I chose the blue Samus for this one. Again, Cyborg Ninja. As for who should be Liquid, we really don't need Liquid in this game. We already got Donkey Kong. Yeah, if you ever played Metal Gear Solid VR missions, if you unlock, like, I don't know why they didn't put that in the collection, the VR missions thing, because if you do enough of them, you can play as the Cyborg Ninja. If you ever actually played as him on VR missions, I mean, you get to feel like a badass, but not in Metal Gear Rising. You feel like a normal ninja that's been dressed up to pose as a Cyborg Ninja, and it's not cool.